There's something about the open road that evokes both freedom and fear. In the quiet hours of the night, when fog rolls in and headlights pierce the darkness, America's haunted roads come alive with stories of restless spirits and unexplained phenomena, from isolated stretches where travelers vanish to winding highways echoing with phantom footsteps. These roads carry secrets that refuse to stay buried. In this chilling journey, we'll explore the 10 most haunted roads in America, each with its own sinister history and spintingling tales. Route 666, stretching across the deserts of New Mexico and Arizona, is a highway unlike any other in America. Infamous for its number and its long history of unexplained tragedies, it has earned the chilling nickname the Devil's Highway. Travelers who venture along this lonely stretch speak of more than just desolate roads and sweeping desert vistas. They speak of encounters that defy logic, events that leave a lingering sense of dread long after the asphalt disappears behind them. Drivers often report seeing ghostly figures at the edges of the road, shadows that appear suddenly and vanish just as quickly. These apparitions sometimes take the form of hitchhikers, clad in tattered clothing, silently raising their thumbs, only to disappear when the car slows down to pick them up. Other times, travelers see figures standing directly in the middle of the road. When swerved around, the figures are gone, yet the eerie feeling of having passed through something unnatural lingers. Some locals claim that these are the spirits of people who died in crashes or accidents along Route 666, cursed to remain, forever replaying their final moments for anyone who dares drive through. The highway is notorious for mechanical failures that seem to have no explanation. Cars stall inexplicably, radios cut out, and headlights flicker in perfect synchronization with an unseen pulse. Drivers often find themselves unable to restart engines or shift gears, stranded on the empty blacktop with nothing but wind and the faint hum of distant highways. Some report feeling a sudden chill sweep over the car, as if an invisible hand has pressed itself against the vehicle. The moments of silence that follow are said to be the most terrifying, filled with the expectation of something emerging from the desert night. Fogs are another eerie hallmark of Route 666. Thick, unnatural mists rise from the desert floor, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Travelers describe driving through these banks of gray, only to see shadowy forms looming just beyond the headlights. When they try to look directly at the figures, they dissolve into the haze. This fog often appears without warning, leaving no explanation in meteorological records. Many believe it is the work of restless spirits, or some darker presence, attempting to confuse and trap travelers. Accidents are common along this stretch of road, often attributed to simple driver error, yet the patterns are strange. Crashes frequently occur in the exact same spots, as though the land itself is cursed. Locals tell stories of drivers seeing a pair of glowing eyes in their rearview mirror before losing control of the wheel. Others speak of hearing phantom tires skidding on asphalt behind them, though the road is empty. These unexplained events have earned Route 666 a fearful reputation, and many avoid traveling it after dark. One of the most persistent legends involves disappearing vehicles. Drivers recount seeing a car ahead of them, sometimes an old model from decades past, driving steadily along the lanes. When they close in, the vehicle suddenly vanishes, leaving nothing but tire tracks and an inexplicable silence. Some travelers claim to have followed the tracks only to find that they lead into the desert sands, disappearing into nothingness. Paranormal enthusiasts speculate that these occurrences are echoes of past accidents or vehicles caught between worlds. The highway also has a reputation for unusual lights. Travelers have reported seeing orbs hovering above the asphalt, floating silently before streaking into the night sky. In some cases, these lights appear in formations, as if guiding or warning drivers. Some locals believe these lights are the souls of those who perished along the Devil's Highway. Others insist the lights are omens, premonitions of accidents yet to occur, flickering on and off in synchronization with approaching danger. Even the road's geography contributes to its haunted reputation. Sharp curves, sudden drops, and blind corners make driving treacherous under normal circumstances. But combined with the reported paranormal activity, the journey becomes a psychological trial. Those who traverse the highway at night often describe a feeling of being watched, an oppressive presence lurking just beyond perception. Every sound, the hum of the engine, the howl of the wind, even the rustle of desert brush feels amplified as though the desert itself is alive, intent on warning or punishing. Some local theories suggest Route 666 is a liminal space, a threshold between the living world and the afterlife. Ghosts of the dead are said to use this road to linger close to the realm of the living, creating strange phenomena and guiding or misleading drivers who cross their path. The highway's number, 666, merely reinforces the cultural fear, but those who have driven it insist that the fear is justified by experience, not superstition. Despite the danger and reputation, Route 666 attracts a certain kind of traveler: thrill seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and those compelled to test their courage against the unknown. Many document their journeys with cameras and dashcams, hoping to capture evidence of the highway's spectral inhabitants. Videos often show sudden blurs, unexplained shadows, or lights moving independently of vehicles, proof, according to believers, that the Devil's Highway truly holds something otherworldly. Ultimately, Route 666 is more than a road. It is a living legend, a place where the mundane act of driving becomes a brush with the supernatural. The stories of vanishing hitchhikers, ghostly cars, inexplicable stalls, and glowing eyes persist across generations. Locals tell travelers to respect the highway, to drive cautiously, and to heed the warnings whispered by those who have traveled its path. For those who ignore the tales, the road offers a chilling reminder that some stretches of America are best left to the spirits that haunt them. Travelers who brave Route 666 often carry the experience with them forever. The memory of phantom figures and unnatural phenomena etched into their minds, whether one believes in ghosts, curses, or simply the power of suggestion. The Devil's Highway remains a road shrouded in mystery, where the line between life and death blurs, and the spirits of the past continue to wander, ever watchful, over the asphalt that never forgets. The Blue Ghost Road, winding through the dense forests of Monroe County, Georgia, is a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems impossibly thin. By day, the road appears as any other rural lane, lined with towering pines, their branches stretching over the asphalt to create a dim canopy, and the occasional abandoned farmhouse dotting the roadside. But by night, travelers recount experiences that chill the spine and defy explanation, as if stepping onto the road is stepping into another world entirely. The most widely reported phenomenon on the Blue Ghost Road is the appearance of ethereal blue orbs. These glowing spheres often float above the trees, drifting slowly alongside vehicles. Some drivers claim the orbs keep pace with their cars, hovering near headlights, then darting off into the woods, before suddenly reappearing. Witnesses describe them as cold and radiant, bathing the road in an otherworldly glow. For many, the experience is both mesmerizing and terrifying, a reminder that something unseen watches from the shadows. Ghostly figures are another hallmark of the road. Travelers report seeing shadowy men and women walking along the edges of the asphalt, sometimes dressed in clothing from centuries past. A few daring drivers have pulled over, hoping to offer a ride, only to find the figure vanish as they approached. These apparitions often appear at bends in the road or near old cemeteries. Their faces obscured, but their presence unmistakable. Some interpret these figures as the spirits of Native Americans who once walked these lands, guardians warning outsiders away from sacred areas. Others see them as restless souls of those who perished in accidents along the road over the decades. The road has earned a reputation for sudden and inexplicable accidents. Vehicles stall without warning, brakes fail, and headlights flicker in perfect synchronization with unseen forces. Some drivers report feeling a cold hand brush their shoulders or hear whispers in a language they cannot understand. There are accounts of cars veering off the road without cause, only to stop mere inches from trees or ditches. Locals tell stories of travelers who never returned, their absence remaining a mystery. feeding the road's chilling lore. Blue Ghost Road also has its share of auditory hauntings. Travelers recount hearing footsteps crunching in the gravel behind them, even when the road is empty. Others describe the faint sound of drums or chanting, echoing across the woods. These noises are often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature, sending shivers down the spine. Some witnesses claim that when they pause to listen, the sounds stop immediately, leaving an unnatural, almost suffocating silence in their wake. Sightings often follow a consistent pattern. A driver might notice a faint glow ahead, appearing as if floating in mid-air. As they approach, the glow seems to retreat, leading them down the twisting road. Other times, shadowy forms appear alongside vehicles, walking or running in perfect rhythm with the tires, yet vanishing when directly observed. For some, these phenomena inspire awe. For others, sheer terror. Reports suggest the road has a way of forcing visitors to confront the unknown, blending fear with curiosity in equal measure. The history of the Blue Ghost Road is intertwined with its eerie reputation. Long before modern cars, the area was a route for Native American tribes and early settlers. Battles, deaths, and tragic accidents are woven into the lore, and many believe that the spirits of those lost have never left. Some see the blue orbs as protective guardians, guiding travelers safely along or warning them away from dangerous stretches. Others interpret the apparitions and accidents as a sign of unrest, the road itself acting as a liminal space where the past refuses to remain buried. Encounters often leave lasting impressions. Drivers frequently describe a lingering sense of being watched long after leaving the road, or shapes that do not appear to belong to any living person. Paranormal enthusiasts often return, drawn to the mystery and the chance to witness phenomena firsthand, while locals advise caution and respect for the road's dark reputation. Despite tour perhaps, because of its eerie reputation, the Blue Ghost Road has become a magnet for thrill-seekers and paranormal investigators. Nighttime drives are popular, with cameras and recording devices in tow. Witnesses often share similar stories. Glowing orbs, shadowy figures, sudden chills, and inexplicable mechanical failures. Each new account reinforces the road's legendary status, ensuring that its reputation as one of Georgia's most haunted locations endures. The Blue Ghost Road is more than just a stretch of asphalt. It is a corridor of the unexplained. Each twist and turn seems to hold a fragment of the past, captured in the forms of orbs, apparitions, and whispers. Travelers who brave the road are reminded that some places retain the memory of those who walked them before, and that the boundary between life and death can be as thin as the mist rising from the forest floor. In the end, the Blue Ghost Road remains a place of fascination and fear. Its combination of natural beauty, historical significance, and paranormal activity creates an experience unlike any other. Whether the spirits are protective, malevolent, or merely lingering echoes of the past, they serve as a reminder that some roads are haunted not by imagination, but by the very souls who once traveled them. For those who venture along this haunted stretch, the advice is simple. Respect the past, drive carefully, and remember that the glowing blue lights and shadowy figures you see may not be merely illusions. They may be the restless spirits of the Blue Ghost Road, eternally bound to the land they once called home. The roads weaving through the Bridgewater Triangle in southeastern Massachusetts are shrouded in an eerie reputation that has persisted for decades, stretching across towns like Bridgewater, Freetown, and Abington. This area has long been associated with paranormal phenomena, but it is the narrow country roads that travelers often describe as the most unsettling. By day, these lanes seem unremarkable, flanked by dense forests, marshes, and old stone walls. But at night, drivers and passers-by recount experiences that suggest the triangle is far from ordinary. One of the most frequently reported phenomena along these roads is the sudden appearance of shadowy figures. Witnesses describe dark, humanoid shapes darting across the pavement, often vanishing the moment headlights illuminate them. Some claim these shadows are fleeting glimpses of spirits or entities tied to the triangle's mysterious history. In some instances, drivers report that the figures appear to move deliberately, toward the edges of the road, seemingly watching the passing vehicles, only to disappear into the surrounding woods. Glowing lights are another common occurrence. These orbs or streaks of light often follow cars for miles, hovering in the air or reflecting off trees and wet pavement. Drivers recount the frustration and fear of trying to track the lights, only to have them vanish or suddenly appear in an entirely different location. Some suggest these lights are spectral guides, while others interpret them as malevolent manifestations, leading travelers astray. Occasionally, witnesses report seeing bright, circular glows that seem to float just above the asphalt, pausing momentarily before accelerating away into the darkness. The Bridgewater Triangle roads are also notorious for sudden and unnatural mists. Thick fogs can appear without warning, rolling across the road and reducing visibility to mere feet. Drivers often feel a sense of suffocation or disorientation within the fog, as though the air itself is charged with something unseen. Reports include strange, shifting shapes moving within the mist, and even the sensation that the fog is pressing in on the vehicle from all sides. Some locals believe these mists are protective veils from the spirits inhabiting the triangle, while others consider them warnings to turn back. Disembodied voices add another layer of unease. Travelers recount hearing their names called from the darkness, often in familiar tones or whispers that seem to come from just beyond the tree line. Others describe hearing indistinct conversations, laughter, or cries echoing across the road, despite being alone. These auditory experiences are sometimes accompanied by sudden temperature drops, creating an almost tangible sense of presence. Some drivers have reported feeling invisible hands brushing against a car, while others swear their seatbelts tightened on their own. Phantom vehicles are yet another hallmark of these haunted roads. Witnesses describe cars appearing from nowhere, often following closely or oncoming at impossible speeds, only to vanish when looked at directly. In some cases, these spectral vehicles seem to behave independently, swerving, stopping, or even reversing, entirely disconnected from reality. Those who have experienced these encounters often speak of the sensation of being trapped in a liminal space, caught between the world of the living and the unknown. The haunted history of the Bridgewater Triangle roads is closely tied to centuries of mystery and tragedy. Native American folklore speaks of sacred sites and curses that may still linger in the area, and early colonial records recount witch trials, unexplained disappearances, and violent conflicts. Over time, tales of strange lights, shadowy figures, and ghostly encounters have intertwined with these historical events, reinforcing the notion that the triangle is a place where the boundaries between worlds are fragile. Some stretches of road are particularly infamous. Routes near Freetown State Forest are often cited as hotspots for strange activity, with drivers reporting the highest concentration of ghostly lights and apparitions. Similarly, isolated roads lined with dense woods or old stone walls are favored by the triangle's restless entities. Many locals warn against traveling these roads at night, especially alone, as the experiences can range from unnerving to terrifying. Encounters along the roads often leave lasting impressions. Travelers speak of a lingering sense of being watched long after leaving the area, and photographs sometimes reveal unexplainable blurs or glowing shapes. Paranormal enthusiasts frequently return to these locations, equipped with cameras, audio recorders, and night vision gear, hoping to capture evidence of the triangle's spectral inhabitants. Even skeptics, however, report an undeniable sense of unease when navigating these lanes. Despite or perhaps because of the fear they inspire, the roads of the Bridgewater Triangle continue to draw the curious. Each twist, bend, and shadowed stretch seems to carry a fragment of the triangle's haunted legacy, from the glowing orbs hovering in the trees to the voices whispering from the darkness. Every journey along these roads is a reminder that some places retain the echoes of the past, refusing to be forgotten. Ultimately, the roads that thread through the Bridgewater Triangle are more than mere highways. They are conduits to a world that exists parallel to our own. Drivers who venture here are warned to respect the history and the unseen forces that may dwell in the shadows. Some say the spirits are protective, while others believe them restless, frustrated by the passage of time and the intrusion of the living. Whatever the truth, the roads offer an experience that is simultaneously beautiful and terrifying. A place where history, legend, and the paranormal intersect. Those who traverse these haunted roads leave with stories that defy explanation. Glowing lights dancing across the asphalt, shadowy figures lurking at the roadside, phantom vehicles appearing from nowhere, and whispers that chill the soul. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, the roads of the Bridgewater Triangle stand as a testament to the enduring mystery of the unknown stretch of pavement, where the past, present, and the supernatural collide, leaving each traveler with a story they will never forget. Haunted Hollow Road in Ohio is a stretch of pavement that few dare to traverse after dark. Nestled deep within a densely wooded hollow, the road carries a reputation steeped in tragedy and mystery. Locals tell of a family that perished there decades ago in a violent accident, their vehicle reportedly plunging from a narrow curve and disappearing into the forested ravine below. Since that fateful night, the area has been marked by unexplained phenomena, drawing both curious thrill-seekers and those captivated by the paranormal. By day, Haunted Hollow Road seems unremarkable. Towering trees line both sides, their limbs intertwining overhead to form a natural tunnel of shadow. Sunlight filters sporadically through the branches, casting shifting patterns on the asphalt. But as the sun dips below the horizon, the atmosphere changes dramatically. Drivers recount a sudden heaviness in the air, an almost tactile presence pressing from the tree line. Many speak of an overwhelming sense that they are not alone, even when the road ahead is empty. One of the most common reports from nighttime travelers is the sound of children's laughter carried faintly on the wind. The giggles often come from the dense woods on either side, impossible to trace or locate. Some say it is the family's young children, trapped between worlds, replaying the final moments before the tragedy. Others suggest more mischievous spirits, perhaps drawn to the living by curiosity or a desire to be noticed. Either way, the laughter has an unsettling quality, echoing through the hollow with an eerie clarity that sends shivers down the spine. Shadows flitting across the road are another frequent phenomenon. Many drivers have described dark, humanoid shapes crossing the pavement, vanishing the instant headlights reveal them. Some shadows are fleeting, mere peripheral glimpses that vanish when looked at directly. Others linger just long enough to create a sensation of being followed. Hikers and pedestrians along the edges of the road sometimes report similar sightings, figures standing silently among the trees, watching with unseen eyes before dissolving into the night. Those who stop their vehicles often encounter even more unnerving occurrences. Cold hands brushing against the car or door handles have been reported, leaving witnesses in a state of panic. Footprints appear in the dirt or mud where no one could have walked. Perfectly formed impressions that vanish upon inspection minutes later. Some thrill seekers claim that attempting to investigate the source of these phenomena only intensifies the experience. With lights flickering, radios turning on unexpectedly, and doors locking and unlocking on their own. Glowing orbs are occasionally seen hovering along the edges of the road or drifting slowly above the treetops. Witnesses describe them as faintly blue or white, moving independently and often appearing to interact with the people driving past. Some say the orbs are manifestations of the deceased family, lingering as a reminder of their untimely deaths. Others believe they are spirits drawn to energy, curious about those who wander into their domain. The orbs sometimes illuminate figures or objects that vanish as soon as they are directly observed, leaving drivers questioning the reality of what they just saw. Several stories involve encounters with apparitions of the family itself. Witnesses have reported seeing a car parked along the shoulder of the road, matching descriptions of the vehicle from the tragic accident. Approaching it often reveals nothing, an empty shell, headlights dark, and doors locked, yet inexplicably warm to the touch. On rare occasions, travelers describe glimpsing figures inside the car, their faces blurred or obscured, sitting silently as if waiting for something. These experiences often leave witnesses shaken, unsure whether they encountered a lingering spirit or their own imagination playing tricks. Even the natural environment seems affected by the haunting. Trees along the road sometimes appear scorched or twisted unnaturally, and the wind carries a whispering quality that has been interpreted as voices murmuring warnings or pleas. Some say the atmosphere shifts as one drives deeper into the hollow, the temperature dropping sharply and the air thickening with tension. This oppressive feeling has caused many drivers to speed through the area, hoping to escape the unseen presence as quickly as possible. Haunted Hollow Road has become a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts. Some visit with cameras, audio recorders, or night vision equipment, hoping to capture evidence of the phenomena. These investigations occasionally yield strange results: unexplained lights, cold spots, and recordings of faint, indecipherable whispers. Yet, no amount of technology seems capable of fully revealing the nature of the hollow's restless spirits. The experiences remain as personal and mysterious as they are terrifying. The road's reputation is not limited to paranormal enthusiasts. Locals often warn travelers to avoid the hollow after dark, citing the numerous accidents and unexplained occurrences over the years. Stories circulate about cars stalling without cause, sudden roadblocks appearing, and drivers feeling an invisible force guiding them toward the tree line. Whether protective or malevolent, the spirits of Haunted Hollow Road are undeniably powerful, leaving a lasting impression on all who venture into their domain. Ultimately, Haunted Hollow Road serves as a chilling reminder of the thin line between life and death, and the ways in which tragedy can imprint itself on a place. From the laughter of unseen children to the fleeting shadows and spectral vehicles, every mile seems charged with the echoes of the past. Travelers who brave the hollow often leave with stories that defy explanation, accounts of presence, movement, and sound that linger in memory long after the road disappears behind them. The allure of Haunted Hollow Road lies not only in its eerie phenomena, but also in the stories it inspires. Every witness adds a new layer to the legend. Whether they experienced the laughter of the lost children, the brush of cold hands, or the ghostly lights hovering above the asphalt. For those who venture into the hollow, the road offers a profound confrontation with the unknown, a place where history, tragedy, and the supernatural collide. And while many pass through uneventfully, those who pay close attention to the shadows and sounds of the hollow may find themselves forever marked by its chilling presence. Bloody Gulch Road, winding through the rugged mountains of Northern California, is a stretch of asphalt shrouded in dark history and chilling tales. From the Gold Rush era to modern times, this remote road has been the site of violent crimes, mysterious disappearances, and inexplicable accidents. Locals have long whispered about the restless spirits that haunt the narrow, treacherous curves, and travelers who venture here after dark often leave with stories that defy explanation. By day, Bloody Gulch Road appears deceptively serene. Towering pine and oak trees line the roadway, their branches forming a canopy that filters sunlight onto the weathered asphalt. The gulch itself, a deep ravine carved over centuries by rushing water, gives the landscape a raw, untamed beauty. Yet even in daylight, there is an uneasy stillness, a tension that seems to cling to the hillsides. Hikers and campers nearby have reported an odd silence in the forest, broken only by sudden gusts of wind that carry whispers, indistinct voices, or faint cries. As night falls, the road transforms. The once benign shadows cast by the trees lengthen and twist, and a thick fog often drifts up from the gulch, obscuring the path ahead. Many drivers report an immediate sense of foreboding, a heavy dread that presses against the chest and slows reactions. Some say it is as if the road itself resents intrusion, warning travelers that they have entered a domain governed by forces beyond the living. Screams in the night are a frequent occurrence, or at least they appear to be. Visitors often claim to hear frantic shouts echoing through the mountains, though no source can be found. The voices vary, sometimes a woman crying for help, other times men yelling in anger or fear. Occasionally, a chorus of voices rises at once, vanishing suddenly, leaving only a chilling silence. Those brave enough to stop their vehicles often find the woods empty, Yet, the feeling of unseen eyes tracking their every move is palpable. Ghostly figures are another common phenomenon along Bloody Gulch Road. Drivers have described shadowy silhouettes appearing on the shoulder of the road or darting across the lanes, vanishing before headlights can fully illuminate them. Some witnesses claim to see miners in 19th-century attire, their lanterns glowing faintly as they move along the curves, or settlers clutching rifles, frozen in mid-stride as though replaying moments from the past. Phantom wagons, drawn by ghostly horses, have also been reported moving silently along the road or emerging from the fog, only to dissolve before reaching the observer. Vehicles themselves often seem to react to the spirits of Bloody Gulch Road. Drivers report gauges behaving erratically, radios switching on to static or faint voices, and headlights dimming inexplicably. Some even describe the sudden failure of brakes or the sensation that an unseen force is guiding the vehicle off course. Many attribute these phenomena to restless spirits, intent on warning, chasing, or even punishing those who traverse the road at night. The Gulch's dark history contributes to its spectral activity. During the gold rush, miners fought violently over claims, and many met untimely deaths. Bandits and settlers brought their own tragedies, often leaving behind bloodshed and terror that locals believe still clings to the landscape. Over the decades, more modern incidents, murders, disappearances, and suspicious accidents have only deepened the area's reputation. Each violent or tragic event is said to leave an imprint on the earth, a spiritual residue that manifests as sightings, sounds, or a palpable sense of unease. Those who linger too long along the road report additional encounters. Cold spots appear without explanation, frost forming on windshields even in warm weather. Footsteps are heard crunching on gravel beside the car, yet no one is there. Some have seen apparitions standing silently in the tree line, watching as drivers pass. Their forms sometimes resembling children, minors, or strangers long dead. The unnerving sensation of being followed persists even when traveling at high speed, as if the spirits are tethered to travelers, unwilling to release them from the gulch's grip. Some visitors have attempted to document these phenomena with cameras and recording devices. Footage occasionally captures faint orbs, fleeting shadows, or vague human shapes, though nothing conclusive emerges. Audio recordings sometimes pick up whispers, footsteps, or distant screams, only to be erased or distorted inexplicably when reviewed. These encounters leave investigators puzzled, reinforcing the notion that Bloody Gulch Road is governed by a presence that defies modern understanding. Local lore warns travelers to exercise extreme caution. The road's narrow lanes, steep cliffs, and hidden curves make it dangerous even under normal conditions. When combined with the paranormal activity, the route becomes not just a physical challenge, but a psychological trial. Those who venture here after dark are advised to stay vigilant, keep their windows closed, and avoid stopping unless absolutely necessary. The mountain spirits are unpredictable, and even a momentary lapse in attention can invite the unknown into the car roar. Worse, despite its danger, Bloody Gulch Road continues to attract thrill-seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and adventurers drawn to its dark mystique. Some come seeking proof of ghosts, while others are compelled by curiosity about the road's storied past. Every visit adds another chapter to its legend, from encounters with phantom miners and screaming apparitions to mysterious lights and unexplainable malfunctions. The Gulch's allure is in its unpredictability, the sense that history and the supernatural converge in a way that touches everyone who passes through. Ultimately, Bloody Gulch Road is more than a winding mountain path. It is a living testament to the violence, tragedy, and restless spirits that have marked the area for centuries. From the spectral wagons and ghostly figures to the chilling screams and inexplicable car malfunctions, every mile offers a brush with the unknown. Those who drive its curves after dark often leave changed, carrying with them stories of a road that is as haunted as it is treacherous. For anyone daring enough to venture along Bloody Gulch Road, the experience is unforgettable, a chilling journey where the past refuses to remain buried, and the living are forced to confront the lingering echoes of death. Route 61. winding through the swamps, bayous, and small towns of Louisiana, is known to many as the Blues Highway. For decades, it has been celebrated as a cradle of American music, where legendary blues musicians once played in juke joints and on front porches. Yet beneath the songs and history lies a darker layer world of ghostly encounters and chilling tales that persist long after the sun sets. Locals and travelers alike speak in hushed tones about the supernatural occurrences that seem to follow anyone brave enough to traverse this storied highway after dark. By day, Route 61 seems like any other rural road. Spanish moss hangs from live oak trees, swamps glimmer under the sun, and small towns pass by with the hum of daily life. Yet, as evening falls, the atmosphere changes. A thick fog often drifts from the swamps, settling over the pavement and muffling the sound of engines. Drivers report an unsettling heaviness in the air, a sensation that the road itself is alive with unseen eyes watching every movement. Some travelers claim that even in bright daylight, there's an oppressive feeling as though the spirits of the past are aware of anyone intruding on their territory. The most commonly reported phenomenon is sound, or, more precisely, the music that seems to emerge from nowhere. Old blues songs, sometimes recognizable and sometimes hauntingly unfamiliar, drift across the road. Voices of men and women singing mournfully, accompanied by the faint pluck of guitar strings, echo through the trees. Witnesses describe hearing these songs inside their vehicles, though rolling down the windows reveals only silence, or at most the rustle of wind through the moss. The melodies often carry a sorrowful tone, steeped in longing, pain, and the stories of lives cut short by hardship, poverty, and violence. Some travelers have claimed to see shadowy figures along the roadside, often moving in rhythm to the unseen music. These figures appear to be dancing or playing instruments, and though they are sometimes clearly human in shape, they vanish when approached or illuminated by headlights. Drivers recount seeing faint outlines of musicians wearing vintage clothing, their hands strumming invisible guitars or beating phantom drums. In some cases, travelers swear that these apparitions reach out, beckoning them to join the spectral gathering, only to dissolve when the car draws near. Route 61 is also steeped in tragic history, which locals believe fuels its hauntings. Countless accidents have occurred along the twisting, narrow stretches of road, particularly near the swampy areas where visibility is low and the pavement is slick. Many of the ghost sightings are reported precisely in these dangerous spots. Some say the spirits of those who perished in these accidents linger, forever retracing the moments of their deaths or attempting to warn passing drivers of the road's hazards. Footsteps along the shoulders of the highway, sudden cold spots in vehicles, and the sensation of being followed are commonly reported by those who travel late at night. Voodoo lore adds another layer to the legends of Route 61. Louisiana's spiritual traditions, mixing African, Caribbean, and European influences, have long held that certain sites can become tethered to spirits through ritual, tragedy, or strong emotion. Some locals insist that certain curves along Route 61 are thin places where the veil between the living and the dead is especially fragile. They warn travelers not to mock or challenge the spirits, particularly near areas with a history of music, death, or ritual, as this can provoke violent or disorienting experiences. Reports of vehicles stalling, headlights flickering, and doors opening on their own are common, and some drivers claim to have felt invisible hands guiding them or pushing them toward the swamp. Hitchhiking is especially dangerous, or perhaps especially supernatural on Route 61. Numerous travelers have recounted picking up strangers dressed in vintage clothing, only for the passengers to vanish from the back seat without a trace. Others claim that attempts to offer assistance to figures along the road are met with sudden, intense cold, whispers in languages no one can recognize, or an overwhelming sense of dread. In some tales, the hitchhikers are musicians, lost souls seeking to relive their music for anyone willing to witness it, while in others, they are malevolent spirits testing the living. Despite or perhaps because of these stories, Route 61 remains a magnet for adventurers. musicians, and paranormal enthusiasts. Some are drawn by the music, hoping to hear the blues as it was played decades ago. Others are attracted by the thrill of walking a road, steeped in legend, eager to witness the spectral figures themselves. Many leave the highway with tales of cold hands on their shoulders, shadows dancing in headlights, and music that lingers in the mind long after the engine has stopped. Those who drive Route 61 at night often report an eerie duality. The beauty and history of the area intertwined with a chilling sense that the past is alive. The same road that gave rise to some of the greatest blues musicians in history is also home to a host of ghostly residents who refuse to remain in the past. For those traveling alone, the road's tales of phantom musicians, vanishing hitchhikers, and mysterious melodies can feel overwhelmingly real, turning a simple drive into a journey through memory, history, and the supernatural. Ultimately, Route 61 is more than just a highway. It is a living testament to music, tragedy, and the lingering presence of those who came before. Every curve, swamp, and roadside tavern carries echoes of voices long silenced and songs that refuse to fade. For travelers brave enough to venture along its stretches after dark, the experience is unforgettable, haunting reminder that on the blues highway, the music never truly ends, and neither do the spirits who keep it alive. The Devil's Pass, nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina, is a road that carries both natural beauty and a sinister reputation. By day, the scenery is breathtaking. Rolling hills, dense forests, and steep cliffs that seem to stretch endlessly into the horizon. But when the sun dips below the mountains and fog rolls through the valleys, the pass transforms into something far darker. Travelers speak of an uneasy feeling, as though the mountains themselves are watching, and the road becomes a treacherous path where the line between the living and the dead blurs. Locals have long whispered of the road's cursed nature. The Devil's Pass has been the site of countless unexplained accidents over the decades, many occurring under perfectly clear conditions. Vehicles have been known to swerve inexplicably, brakes fail without cause, and headlights illuminate figures that vanish the instant one approaches. Survivors often describe a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread, as if unseen hands press on their shoulders or tug at the steering wheel. It is as though the pass itself is alive, punishing those who dare traverse it after dark. One of the most frequently reported phenomena is the appearance of shadowy figures. Drivers tell stories of forms darting across the pavement, sometimes on foot, sometimes appearing to hover above the road. These figures are often described as human in shape, but disturbingly dark, with eyes that seem to glow faintly in the mist. Some witnesses claim the figures stand motionless on cliff edges, staring silently, their gaze heavy with intent. When approached, the shadows disappear instantly, leaving only an icy wind in their place. Spectral hitchhikers are another eerie hallmark of Devil's Pass. Travelers report picking up young men or women dressed in outdated clothing, their faces pale and emotionless. Conversation with these apparitions is brief. The hitchhiker often requests a ride to a nearby town or a seemingly innocuous location. Yet, moments after reaching the requested spot or sometimes even before the figure vanishes from the vehicle entirely. In some accounts, passengers feel a lingering cold, as if the spirit left a fragment of itself behind, a tangible reminder of its existence. Others describe strange scratches or marks appearing on the seats or doors after the disappearance. Inexplicable and chilling evidence of the supernatural encounter. The pass has a history that locals believe fuels these hauntings. Centuries ago, the area was home to small Appalachian communities, where accidents, murders, and disappearances were tragically common due to the treacherous terrain. The mountains themselves were believed to be spiritually charged, and Native American legends warned of restless spirits inhabiting the cliffs and valleys. Some say that those who died violently or without proper burial remain tied to the pass, seeking closure or vengeance on the living. The combination of historical tragedy and natural isolation seems to amplify the road's eerie energy. Fog is a near-constant presence along the Devil's Pass, and it is often blamed for amplifying the hauntings. Travelers describe thick, unnatural mists that descend without warning, reducing visibility to mere feet. Within the fog, figures appear and vanish. Headlights reveal glimpses of faces pressed against the glass or hands waving from the trees. Some drivers report hearing whispers carried on the wind, words that are unintelligible but unmistakably urgent, as though the spirits are trying to convey a warning or a threat. The fog seems to possess a sentience of its own, guiding travelers toward danger or obscuring the safe path ahead. Another unsettling feature of the Devil's Pass is the disorienting sense of time and distance. Drivers have reported feeling as though they've been traveling for hours, only to find that they are still within sight of the same bend in the road. In other cases, trips that should take minutes stretch inexplicably long, with headlights illuminating the same trees, cliffs, and signs repeatedly. Some believe this is a manifestation of the spirit's control over the area, bending reality to trap or test those who traverse the road at night. Locals offer countless warnings to anyone attempting to drive after dark. They advise avoiding the road alone, keeping a tight grip on the steering wheel, and refraining from interacting with any figures encountered along the route. Even stopping to investigate a mysterious sound or light is discouraged, as those who do are said to experience the most intense manifestations. Sudden cold, physical pressure, and shadowy figures approaching with intent. Some claim that those who linger too long have never been seen again, swallowed by the pass itself, or claimed by whatever spirits linger in the mist. Yet, despite its fearsome reputation, the Devil's Pass continues to draw thrill-seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and curious travelers. Some are attracted by the stories of spectral hitchhikers and shadowy figures. Others are drawn to the history and folklore that saturates the Appalachian Mountains. Visitors often leave with stories of headlights illuminating figures that vanish in an instant, voices whispering warnings from unseen sources, and the unshakable feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Even those who survive the drive recount an unsettling certainty that the spirits of the pass are still present, lingering just beyond the veil of fog and darkness. The Devil's Pass remains one of North Carolina's most haunted locations, a road where history, tragedy, and the supernatural intersect. Its cliffs, fog, and winding pavement conceal more than just natural dangers. They harbor restless spirits, spectral hitchhikers, and shadowy figures that challenge the living to respect the past. For those who dare to drive the pass at night, every bend holds the potential for a chilling encounter, and every whisper on the wind may be a warning or a message from those who cannot rest. In traversing the Devil's Pass, travelers step into a world where the ordinary and the supernatural intertwine, and where the road itself seems to remember every soul that has ever traveled it. The Freetown Fall River State Forest in Massachusetts is a sprawling wilderness, dense with towering pines, tangled underbrush, and winding roads that seem to vanish into the shadows. By day, it is a serene place, frequented by hikers, birdwatchers, and families seeking a retreat from the urban bustle. But as dusk falls, the forest takes on a more sinister character. The roads cutting through this vast expanse are steeped in legend, earning a reputation as some of the most haunted in New England. Drivers and visitors alike speak of experiences that defy logic, encounters that blur the line between the living world and the realm of spirits. The forest's reputation for paranormal activity stretches back centuries. Native American tribes once considered the area sacred, warning that certain paths should not be tread lightly. Folklore suggests that those who ignored these warnings risked angering restless spirits, a lesson that seems to have persisted across generations. The forest became home to early settlers, whose lives were often cut short by disease, accidents, or violent confrontations. Their presence, some say, lingers along the roads that now wind through the wilderness, manifesting as fleeting shadows, sudden chills, and inexplicable sounds. Travelers frequently report eerie phenomena when driving after dark. One of the most common experiences is the sound of chains dragging along the asphalt, a grating noise that seems to come from nowhere. Many describe it as the echo of a long-forgotten tragedy, the labor of spirits condemned to repeat their suffering endlessly. Some have claimed that the sound grows louder as they approach, only to vanish entirely when headlights illuminate the area. Others report that vehicles inexplicably stall in these moments, engines cutting out for no mechanical reason, leaving drivers stranded amid the dense trees. Ghostly figures are another recurring sight along these haunted roads. Witnesses describe forms stepping out from the tree line, often in colonial or early settler clothing, their features obscured by shadow. These apparitions appear briefly, sometimes raising a hand in warning, before dissolving into the forest. Some travelers claim to have seen Native American spirits, cloaked in ceremonial garb, standing silently by the roadside or gesturing toward paths that lead deeper into the woods. These figures are rarely threatening, yet their presence inspires an instinctive fear, as if warning intruders away from sacred or dangerous ground. Cold spots are an almost constant feature in the forest, especially along isolated stretches of road. Drivers report that the temperature inside their cars drops suddenly, frost forming on windows despite warm summer nights. This chilling phenomenon is often accompanied by a sense of heaviness, an oppressive feeling that presses down as though unseen hands are reaching in from the shadows. Many describe a sense of being observed, a sensation so intense that even skeptics feel compelled to drive with heightened alertness, their eyes scanning every flicker of movement in the periphery. Disappearances have long been part of the forest's dark history. Locals tell stories of travelers who ventured into the area at night and were never seen again. Some vanish without a trace, leaving cars abandoned along the roadside. Others are rumored to have returned days later, changed in ways that cannot be explained, muted, pale, and haunted by something invisible. These tales have only reinforced the forest's reputation as a place where the past refuses to remain buried, and where the living must tread carefully. The combination of natural and supernatural elements makes driving the Freetown Fall River roads at night particularly unnerving. Fog often drifts through the trees, thickening the shadows and obscuring even familiar landmarks. Headlights frequently reveal figures or movements that disappear when one looks directly. Unseen voices carry across the empty roads, sometimes whispering names, sometimes issuing warnings, or occasionally letting out anguished cries. Tires crunch over unseen debris, yet when drivers stop to investigate, there is nothing to be found. Each twist of the road seems to amplify the forest's eerie energy, heightening the sense that something is following, watching, and waiting. Despite these dangers, thrill seekers and paranormal enthusiasts continue to explore the area. Ghost hunters and curious travelers venture onto the roads with cameras and recording devices, hoping to capture evidence of the unexplained. Many return with stories of flickering orbs, shadowy figures glimpsed through trees, and the unshakable sensation of being followed. Even seasoned investigators admit that the forest possesses an energy that cannot be explained by conventional science, an almost sentient presence that responds to the living as they traverse the roads. Some believe the forest acts as a liminal space, a thin veil between the world of the living and that of the dead. Here, the spirits of settlers, Native Americans, and victims of countless tragedies linger, bound by unfinished business or by the power of the land itself. The trees, roads, and fog seem to remember every sorrow and misfortune that has occurred within their domain, replaying echoes of the past for those daring enough to witness them. Whether one sees it as a playground for restless spirits, a reflection of centuries-old tragedies, or simply a place where the imagination runs wild, the Freetown Fall River State Forest is undeniably haunted. The roads weaving through its dense canopy carry stories, warnings, and experiences that defy explanation. Travelers who venture here after dark are likely to feel an immediate change in atmosphere, the air thick with unseen eyes, the roads alive with echoes of the past, and the forest itself whispering secrets meant for no one but the bold. Those who navigate the Freetown Fall River roads often emerge changed, their tales filled with inexplicable sounds, spectral figures, and chilling sensations that linger long after the night ends. The forest is more than a collection of trees and asphalt. It is a living monument to the spirits and tragedies of history. a place where the boundary between the natural and supernatural is as thin as the mist drifting along the darkened roads. Route 22 in Pennsylvania, often referred to as the Valley of Shadows, is more than a simple highway. It is a corridor steeped in history, tragedy, and lingering spirits. Stretching through the Appalachian foothills, this road is flanked by the remnants of old mining towns and the skeletal remains of industrial sites that were once bustling with life. Today, the valley holds an eerie stillness, but those who travel its winding paths at night speak of encounters that defy explanation, marking Route 22 as one of the most haunted roads in the region. Drivers who traverse the Valley of Shadows often report an immediate shift in atmosphere as they enter the area. The air feels heavier, colder, and charged with a strange energy. Many recount the sensation of being watched, though no one is visible along the roadside. Lights from vehicles sometimes flicker, engines stall without reason, and electronic devices fail, leaving travelers stranded in the darkness with only the road and the whispers of the past. Some claim that even the most confident drivers find themselves gripped by a sudden, overwhelming unease that seems to emanate from the very land itself. The ghostly figures most commonly reported are miners. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, coal and iron mining formed the backbone of the valley's economy, but the work was perilous. Explosions, collapses, and countless accidents claimed the lives of many laborers. Today, shadowy miners carrying lanterns are said to walk along the edges of the road, their faces obscured by helmets and grime, their movements deliberate and silent. Some witnesses have described stopping their cars in shock as these apparitions step onto the pavement, only to vanish when approached, leaving the headlights illuminating an empty road. The sense of presence lingers long after the figures have disappeared, a chilling reminder of lives cut short. Orbs of light are another frequent phenomenon along Route 22. These glowing spheres hover above the ground or drift slowly along the roadside, often following vehicles as if guiding or warning the living. Witnesses report that these orbs can move with purpose, changing speed or direction unexpectedly. Sometimes, the lights appear near abandoned buildings, flickering in windows where no electricity exists, or hovering over old mine entrances, as if marking the entrances to hidden realms. Drivers often interpret these lights as omens, either cautioning them against stopping or signaling the proximity of restless spirits. Shadow people are another common and unnerving sight. Often glimpsed in the periphery, these dark, human-shaped figures vanish when directly looked at, leaving only a lingering sense of dread. Some travelers report hearing whispers or muffled voices when shadow people are near, though the source is impossible to locate. Others describe the sensation of being followed, a pressure at the back of the neck, or the faint brush of a cold hand against their shoulder, even when they are completely alone. The combination of visual and sensory phenomena creates an experience that is deeply unsettling, often leaving witnesses questioning their own perceptions. Several abandoned structures along Route 22 seem to act as focal points for paranormal activity. Old mining houses, rusted equipment, and crumbling factories emit a palpable sense of history and tragedy. Visitors who explore these sites report hearing footsteps echoing through empty corridors, the clatter of tools dropped long ago, and voices shouting in languages that feel old and unfamiliar. In some accounts, apparitions of miners and laborers are seen performing daily tasks, picking at imaginary or hauling equipment, or inspecting machinery, completely unaware of the living observers. The past and present blur, creating an immersive and often terrifying experience. Vehicle anomalies are another hallmark of the Valley of Shadows. Drivers frequently report engines stalling for no reason, headlights dimming or flickering, and radios crackling with static or voices speaking unintelligible words. Some say the road itself resists movement, with vehicles slowing inexplicably or feeling as though they are being held back by an invisible force. These occurrences heighten the sense of vulnerability along the darkened stretches, compelling travelers to remain vigilant and, in many cases, to leave the area quickly. The haunting reputation of Route 22 is strengthened by tales of sudden phantom apparitions appearing without warning. Some witnesses describe shadowy figures stepping into the headlights, only to vanish when closely observed. Others recount seeing ghostly wagons or carts moving along abandoned pathways, as if the miners of old still attempt to complete their daily routines. These fleeting visions are often accompanied by strange sounds, the clink of chains, distant hammering, or the groaning of timbers long since decayed. Even those who dismiss supernatural explanations often admit that the road carries an intangible, almost sentient presence that is impossible to ignore. Local lore adds to the mystique of Route 22. Residents have long spoken of curses placed on the valley by miners who perished in accidents, rituals performed by early settlers, and unsettled spirits tethered to the land by tragedy and labor. Some claim that the spirits protect the valley, preventing careless trespassers from wandering too close to dangerous old mines or unstable structures. Others believe the spirits are restless, trapped by the horrors of their untimely deaths, endlessly retracing the paths they once walked. For those brave enough to explore, Route 22 offers both history and horror. The road is a living museum of the past, where each turn reveals remnants of labor, life, and death. The experiences reported by travelers, ghostly miners, shadow people, flickering orbs, and phantom voices transform a simple drive into a journey through memory and the supernatural. Every encounter reinforces the road's reputation, cementing its place as a haunting stretch of American highway that continues to captivate and terrify. Whether approached with skepticism or belief, the Valley of Shadows on Route 22 remains a testament to the enduring presence of the past. The miners who once labored here, the towns that flourished and crumbled, and the tragedies that unfolded along the road have left an imprint that cannot be erased. Travelers may come seeking adventure or history, but they leave with something far more profound, an intimate brush with spirits who refuse to be forgotten, a road where the echoes of lives long past are never truly silent. The Devil's Backbone, a narrow, winding road carved into the rugged hills of Texas, is a place where beauty and danger collide. By day, it offers breathtaking views of rolling hills, jagged cliffs, and the sprawling countryside. Drivers often marvel at the landscape, the steep inclines, and the sharp curves that demand both skill and attention. Yet, as daylight fades and shadows lengthen, locals speak in hushed tones about the supernatural presence that lingers along its path. A force born from tragedy, accident, and centuries of untold stories. Historically, the Devil's Backbone earned its reputation through countless accidents. The roads, steep cliffs, and narrow turns have claimed lives for generations. From early settlers navigating horse-drawn wagons to modern travelers in sleek automobiles, the treacherous terrain leaves little room for error, and on foggy nights, even experienced drivers have found themselves teetering on the edge. Over time, the fatalities have become entwined with legend. Residents whisper that the spirits of those who perished here never truly left the area, bound to the cliffside by unresolved trauma and violent deaths. These apparitions are said to roam both the roadway and the surrounding hills, appearing suddenly to those brave or foolish enough to drive after dark. Many travelers report subtle signs first, an uneasy sensation that something unseen is near. The air grows inexplicably cold, even during the heat of summer, and an unnatural stillness descends. Some drivers describe a feeling of being followed, a creeping awareness that the vehicle is not alone. Others notice shadows flickering along the cliff edges, or a pair of glowing eyes reflected in their rearview mirrors when no other vehicle is present. It is a place where perception warps, where the mind struggles to differentiate between imagination and reality, and where every turn could bring a close encounter with the unknown. More dramatic phenomena are frequently reported. Ghostly figures, often dressed in clothing from bygone eras, are seen wandering along the ridges or standing at the road's edge. Some appear as men and women from the 19th century, lost travelers or settlers who met their end navigating the perilous path. Others manifest as the spectral forms of horses and carriages, seemingly frozen in time, moving silently along the hillside before vanishing without a trace. Witnesses describe hearing the creak of harnesses, the clatter of hooves, and faint whispers carried on the wind, blending unnervingly with the natural sounds of the night. The Devil's Backbone is also known for more interactive encounters. Drivers have reported seeing phantom headlights approaching from behind, only to disappear when a glance is cast in the rearview mirror. Some claim their vehicles behave strangely on this road, brakes suddenly failing, steering becoming unusually heavy, or radios turning on and off of their own accord. Others have experienced sudden fog rolling in, dense enough to obscure the road entirely, despite clear conditions elsewhere. These incidents contribute to the road's reputation as a corridor between the living and the dead, a place where the normal rules of physics and logic seem to bend under the weight of spectral presence. Local legend adds layers to the haunting. Stories persist of a young couple who, decades ago, lost control of their carriage on a sharp turn, tumbling into the ravine below. Witnesses say their cries can sometimes be heard echoing faintly through the trees, accompanied by the distant sound of breaking timber and the soft whinny of a horse. Others tell of travelers who encounter a mysterious figure standing in the middle of the road, often described as a shadowy silhouette, who vanishes just as quickly as it appeared. Those who stop to investigate occasionally report cold hands resting on the car, or footprints appearing in the dust where no one could have walked. Each account reinforces the notion that the past has imprinted itself upon the road, leaving echoes that continue to interact with the present. Despite its dangers and eerie reputation, the Devil's Backbone continues to attract thrill-seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and curious travelers. Some approach with cameras and recording devices, hoping to capture evidence of the unexplained, while others simply drive cautiously, wary of what might appear in the next bend. Stories abound of those who, after passing through, felt an indelible mark left on their psyche, lingering sense of being watched, or a profound unease that persists long after leaving the road. Even skeptics often admit to the uncanny sensation that the environment itself is alive with the echoes of tragedy and the restless spirits of those who never left. The road's unique combination of natural beauty and supernatural lore ensures that it remains a compelling destination for those intrigued by haunted highways. Every curve offers both a breathtaking view and the potential for an encounter with the unknown. Fog-filled nights, moonlit ridges, and the silent stretches between bends all contributes to the atmosphere that has cemented the Devil's Backbone as a legendary location in Texas folklore. It is a place where history, tragedy, and the paranormal converge, each mile steeped in stories that defy easy explanation. The Devil's Backbone is more than a road. It is a living testament to the intertwining of human history and the supernatural. From ghostly travelers and spectral carriages to mysterious headlights and chilling cold spots, every account reinforces its reputation as one of America's most haunted highways. Drivers who traverse it after dark are confronted with reminders that the past lingers, that tragedy leaves marks beyond the grave, and that some roads are not merely traveled, they are inhabited. For those drawn to the unknown, the Devil's Backbone offers a journey both terrifying and unforgettable, where every bend could reveal a glimpse of the spirits that continue to roam its perilous path. Thank you for joining this chilling tour of America's most haunted roads. If the idea of ghostly hitchhikers, phantom vehicles, and restless spirits sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more haunted tales from across the country. Remember, whether it's highways, haunted homes, or eerie trails, the stories of the past are never truly gone. They're waiting in the shadows, ready to make your next journey unforgettable.